I'm standing in a Kennewick neighborhood and my phone's telling me it's 27 degrees outside. Earlier this morning when Kennewick firefighters responded to this same neighborhood for, in fact, this home right here behind me, it was 16 degrees then. To get the check, thank you. There's something on this check that might cause you to do a double take. And now looking at all the completed pieces. One of the major parts of the project was the baggage claim area finished earlier on in the project, followed by the updated ticket counters behind me. And finally today, this terminal expansion, including 4 additional gates. Blank spaces like this, or spaces to create like this one, or just a place to grab a juice. It's pretty simple. You come up to the case that's full of books where you can either drop one off or pick one up and put it in her purse, all while the camera's still rolling. The Horseheaven Hills Middle School teacher posted bail yesterday afternoon at $15,000. This morning, I reached out and asked her to talk. We're behind me in a trailer right down the road. They're actually detonating an explosive device they found early this morning. Investigators have been going in and out of that home right there behind me. This story is kind of hard to believe. A 35-year-old pregnant woman took the stand today and pled guilty to giving 2 13-year-olds meth. Benton County Sheriff's Office is investigating after an inmate died, and they say it could be connected to heroin being smuggled into the jail. A medical mystery stumps doctors in Seattle, where 8 children are being treated for a rare neurological illness. Planning out your holiday shopping, we'll tell you what stores have decided to keep their doors closed on Thanksgiving Day. That's next. Stay with us. It's with a very heavy heart that I do have to share. We just got a message on Facebook from his daughter, and Dawn passed away at 8 o'clock this evening. 21 recipients received the nation's highest civilian honor today by President Barack Obama at the White House ceremony. Morgan, we're actually going to hold on to you for just a second because we have a lot of people asking us if police have any idea where she might be. What have officers told you? Thing we talked about is when I was younger, I grew up in Massachusetts, so we always were so excited for snow days, obviously no school, but to make snow slushy. We do have a low pressure system making its way to the east, so coming in from the coast, but more than that, we also have the modified Arctic air coming down from Canada. We're kind of getting hit on all sides. And that rain is expected to pass the Cascades around 4 o'clock this afternoon. That's where I stopped our model, and that's where you'll see Ellensburg and Yakima starting to get a little bit of the rain as well. Some scattered showers down by Walla Walla and in the Blue. The good news is those temperatures will be followed by a warming trend for the weekend. Tonight, a cool night outside. Look at this, 55 in Connell, 57 in Sunnyside, 50 in Cle Elum. So definitely a cool evening. Want to pop those windows open, save some money on the ACs. I know that's what I'll be doing for sure. 13-year-old Yahira Nuevo was getting ready to go to McDonald's with her friend.
I didn't know, at first I thought it was something that fell in my living room.
When she heard a loud crash.
Then you just hear screaming and crying, and we're just like, what the heck?
She ran outside to find a car in her front yard and her brother on the ground.
So when I came outside, my brother was laying over here and he was under the fence.
According to Hermiston police, the 23-year-old driver swerved across the double yellow line, clipped the telephone pole, and tore down the fence.
So I called my dad first, and I was crying, so I couldn't really explain what was happening. So my sister had to explain to him, and my dad was freaking out. And when he got here, they had already put my brother in the ambulance.
2 of the 3 boys were taken to the hospital for their injuries. Yahira's brother came home today, bruised and bandaged, and 13 stitches later, Abraham is still trying to process everything that happened last night, leaving him lying in bed with a few weeks left of summer.
I've never seen something like that happen before, especially to my little brother. And I don't know, I guess it just scared me a lot because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know if he was gonna die or something like that.
Neighbors living on West 16th Avenue have seen a rise in burglaries.
Got done doing some parts replacement on the truck, went inside, got a glass of ice water, came out, couldn't find my hand towel.
It just started getting out of control.
They've been targeted for a while now.
It's been a month ago. In one night, she took 2 full pairs of shoes and a pair of socks off their porch.
The suspect, not who you'd think.
Lo and behold, I was a victim of the cat bandit across the street.
Meet Dory, otherwise known as the Bad Kitty Bandit.
AKA Ninja Kitty, AKA Dory. Steals your stuff, stolen and found by. So my 10-year-old niece made this.
Dory will watch and wait during the day and prowl at night. The items she brings back end up right here in this orange bucket.
This was full, like just 2 days ago.
It's in this bucket where they keep the gloves, the toys, and even sneakers. Neighbors just come right here to pick those items up.
I don't know how she's getting in some of the neighbors' yards, but she's figuring it out, and so they probably should come check the bucket.
And she moves quickly. I myself almost became a victim of the cat bandit.
We have this problem that's out there. You need to start researching it and figuring out what's going on.
It happens more often than you think. People walking into their drug test, preparing to use fake urine samples.
What we saw was these products were there. We didn't know exactly, how much substituted urine was coming through our laboratory.
To stay on top of the industry that's changing and trying to pull one over on the labs, Dave Michelson is constantly patrolling websites, making sure no fake samples are passing their tests.
We first started seeing our name come up several years ago that somebody submitted a synthetic urine sample and it passed a drug test at our lab.
And from there, they adjust what they test for. They've added testing for natural things that come from a normal human diet.
So normal human urine will always give us a precipitant. So if we put
But then the industry started adding analytes to pass those tests. So they looked for more than one.
then we can inject. As we looked at more than the one that they tested, now they have to guess, all right, what are they looking for this time?
They're constantly trying to stay one step ahead.
We'll also pick up a drug and the fact that, they've added synthetic urine to it.
He says 10 years ago is when they first saw the massive influx of people using synthetic urine.
Somewhere between 4 and 5% of the samples coming through were synthetic urine, which is a huge number when you think about the tens of thousands of samples tested on a daily basis.
Since then, it's dropped to just under 1%. He tells me they've seen it all as people smuggle in their synthetic sample in a container along with something to heat up the sample quickly, but not too hot, just right at body temperature. And with all that effort that goes into that process,
if people would spend as much time, at their job or in school or anything else, and the creativity they have to get around their drug test, if they would just focus that on their other efforts, it's amazing how much they could get accomplished.